Hi, my name is Aksik, aka Annika. Welcome to my channel. Super happy and glad to see you here. And it's time, finally, to have the conclusions of the month video. Essentially, completed pages of January 2026. Please note, I actually said the correct year. I have been saying the wrong year all through the month of January. So, 2026. May it be a better year. We'll see how it's going to go. As you can see, my pile is actually pretty nice. I was kind of pretty sure in the beginning of the month that things are not going to go great. But no, I actually managed to finish quite a few pages, and a couple of them are even double-page spreads, although they're not very elaborate spreads. And I'm quite happy with quite a few of them. Like, I'm pretty chuffed with the results of this month. So I'm going to put things to the side now. And I thought I'll first show you. Let's see, there's loads of different stuff here. I'll show you first a couple of WIP-s. I'm not saying that I have a couple of WIP-s because that would be blatant and also a nasty lie. But I do have kind of active WIP-s that I consider active WIP-s. I only will show you 4 of them, which I kind of really hope that I would finish in February, because I'm kind of working on them fairly actively. Okay, so the first one is this book. It is influenced by Maya again situation. Okay, the camera, sorry, is a bit wonky. I apologize. And Emily Appleswitch is the author. They're available on Amazon, but if you want to look at the ISBN, here it is. Really cool art. A bit challenging, but really suitable and cool for kind of a mixed media. If you are comfortable doing that on Amazon paper. I actually got that book. I ordered a couple of things from Amazon Japan, things that I have, a purchase that I have been planning for quite a long time. So not something impulse buy. I have been kind of over half a year planning to get a couple of things, and now I finally did it. And I got it on Amazon Japan paper. So this one actually takes even watercolor if you do it in a sensible way, but it's much better to work on than your UK, US Amazon paper. And I just put some metallic watercolors and such onto it, and some acrylic pens. And I know where I'm going, but I'm nowhere there yet. So I want to make it in a stylized way, fairly kind of a bit Art Deco style, but the whole book is kind of, I find very strong Art Deco influences here, as you can see yourself, kind of a poster art of the era. I think it's kind of very, very strongly there. Kind of, you can also find kind of a little bit of Klimt vibes here in some of the images. Most is kind of very, very kind of a stylized Art Deco. And I have picture in my head what I want it to be. I put down a metallic acrylic paint. You can see this one, and I deliberately put it down kind of thick, and it was actually hard to put down that way, but I wanted it kind of textured, so it wouldn't be like super smooth, but it would be kind of a texture. And it's hard to show on the camera. Only with moving you can kind of see how textured it is, but I think it looks cool that way. And this is the acrylic paint I used. It's essentially acrylic paint, metallic one from Temu. So, and they're actually great. You can use them thicker, or you can kind of dilute them and use them very much as metallic watercolors in the same way, or consistency and laydown would be the same. Then there's a second book that I have, which I got from Maria. She is a colorful mother of 3, and she sent me a happy mail which I was absolutely delighted with. It's a really cute book. And I started a page here, and I kind of had also hoped to finish it, but no, I didn't get to finishing it, sadly. I did get to somewhere, like I have the wall here done, and this wall mostly done, and kind of most of the elements there. You know, I have a couple of things to finish on the windowsill and such. But yeah, it's kind of, you know, kind of taking a shape a bit for me. The color scheme is already there, and you know, I have the ideas, you know, all in my head how it's going to be shaded. But it just would take one evening, you know, kind of to sit down with pencils and finish it up, and it would look really cute. It's a really nice paper, but actually loves better harder pencil because it has this the texture of it. Maybe it's because, no, I didn't put really much of a watercolor. There's a bit of watercolor pencils here and there, but even on the areas where I didn't put watercolor pencils, I did a lot of basing with pastels. Most of the pasting here is done with pastels. A couple of bits are done with like watercolors, like this duvet here. Those squares are done with watercolors, but most of the other elements here, the bears, you know, all of it is done with soft pastels. So yeah, it just needs a bit of time. I need to get to it. Then this one has been a WIP, actually embarrassingly long, because I was so excited when I got this book. And I got all worked up, and I wanted to definitely, you know, get into it and finish it very, very soon and make a flip through. And then somehow constantly other projects or other pages got into the way, and I kind of forgot about it. And obviously I also didn't feel hugely like it, because otherwise I would have just, you know, dedicated more time to it. But I really love the page, and I love the book, and I want to finish this WIP and do. I know that other WIP throws are there, but I want to do my own WIP throw because I really appreciate the art in this book, and I would love to kind of show and have my own commentary to it. It's just, I don't know, I would just like to do it. And this one is all gouache. There's nothing else here on this page, just pure gouache from the sky to the dragon. And it's going to be I don't plan to put much of a pencil on here. I will try to do it in a gouache, which means that I have to specifically kind of, you know, set everything up for doing it. I now got a palette for kind of putting gouache paints into, so maybe I can kind of, you know, do it a bit more easy, then I don't have to kind of set everything up and then put everything away again. We'll see if that's going to work. But I think it's going to be a nice page. I like how the snow came out, you know, I like the mountains. Yeah, it would be nice once I actually get this moment and actually sit down with it. And then there's this book that I started on the live stream. That was the Piggiton, the World Cancer Research Fund charity live stream, which 16 of us YouTubers came together, and for 24 hours we were just streaming. It was just, you know, very, very recently. So some of you, most of you might know and remember and probably were there. And I had done that or started that for the live stream. The name of the page is here, an invisibility potion, but I called it the cure. The scientist Kitty has just discovered a cure for cancer. So obviously delighted and a bit manic. Never mind. So in the stream I did the kind of a background here. I was showing once again how I color on the black. And now I just need to, you know, most of the alcohol marker base is down. It's very, very rough, you know, quickly thrown down alcohol marker base. It just needs now pencil work on top. I will make things glow here, you know, here and here and here, and, you know, make the shadow stronger, and, you know, all the work that needs to be done. Although there's quite a bit done already. So once again, I'd say I need a good evening of sitting with it, but I haven't had that chance yet. And here you can see, you know, what I did, the work that I did with alcohol markers, because the round here was actually white. So I took alcohol marker, I took pro marker to avoid any yellowing, because those inks don't usually influence the pages around them. And I put a pro marker black all around on the background, and then I colored in, you know, I put on, you can see how rough the base here is. I didn't really do huge amounts of blending or anything. I just kind of put down a rough color scheme and rough shadows, and everything else will be done with pencils. So that's it. That's my 4 WIPs, which I probably talked too much about, but never you mind. We're gonna get to things. So I'm starting from the smaller books that are threatening to tip down the pile. So I had done quite a few fairly involved pages this month. Some months are like that quite a few of the pages tend to be these project pages almost. And in between them, I just felt like I need to kind of unwind a bit and do something fairly simplistic. So I was working in this book a little bit, and it's a very, I really like the art in this book. Not all the stuff on the back, but you know, that style of a folk art. It's an artist book. It's not, well, Shutterstock is artist book, artist, you know, also artist, real artist work. But you know, it's not nameless, faceless. It is specific artist book, and I really like how she draws those kind of naivistic folk arty pages, and it really called to me. I got it for, I think, less than €2 on Vinted. So this one was one of the first ones I did. It's the just two-headed bird. And I tried to kind of find my way with this kind of folk arty style. Don't know if I can get you a bit closer, because that book is pretty small. It's like size of my hand. And it's very simple. It was just some, it was mostly, well, the base was done with watercolors. Then I had some pencils on top. And if you're interested in what pencils I had on top, then I actually have to go and find it out, because I don't remember. Let me find it out for you. It's Woomer pencils actually, and then it's just some gel pens. So no big and complicated stuff on this page. And then on this page, I mostly did that because I made a video about how to mix acrylic paints, matte acrylic paints, craft acrylic paints that aren't very opaque, how to mix them so they would become more opaque, what consistency they need to be, and how to apply them on the background so you would get kind of a opaque backgrounds, should you look for one, with your craft acrylics with pretty much one layer. It was a fairly thorough video, so if you're looking for information like that, it's all there in my library. Go and find it. And this is just, you know, the background is acrylic paint, and this is just I threw in. I wasn't even ever going to embellish it or try to make it more than it was. It's a very simplistic page. I had some Derwent pastel watercolors in my hand, and I just dropped in different watercolor colors here. Derwent watercolor from the little, it's 12 set of watercolors, pastel watercolors. It's really nice, beautiful tones. So I made this kind of a color variations. I think they look cute. And then the last one I did was this one. And that's done also the same story. You know, I showed kind of acrylic background, opaque acrylic background in 3 different situations. One was kind of more detailed one, you know, how to mix and what consistency the paints need to be. If you know, you have more of a detail on the page and smaller areas you need to get into, and so on. And this one was kind of like middling, detail. And then I also did a background for a page that basically was just pure background, you know, there wasn't much detail there at all. And how, you know, the consistency and the way you treat the paints and the way you put them down needs to be slightly different for it to work the best. And here it was water-based markers at first. I know that. And then, okay, I need to look at my... I put down the acrylic background first because that's pretty much, you know, how this page got started. And then I also, yeah, mostly I did kind of color variations I put down with water-based markers because I scribbled them onto the cutting board and basically picked them up with water brush and did loads of color variations. And all the color variations were essentially the same, but I wanted the page to have a bit more of a punch, you know, a bit more vibrant and intense. So I pulled out my Rubens, Paul Rubens neon watercolors that I got from Michelle. And I just added, not everywhere, but in certain areas, I added a bit of an extra with neon watercolors. That really kind of made the page punchy and vibrant. And then I didn't want to, because it's a fairly small page, and if I had, you know, done every single outline with gel pen, kind of disguised all the line art, it would have just become a mess. Because no gel pen is really as, you know, as fine as those lines, and it would have just overwhelmed the page. So I put neon gel pen down in certain areas, like some dotting and, you know, some middles and, you know, some extra places. And I used all neon gel pens. And I think I actually really love that page in its simplicity. It's absolutely lovely. So yeah, very happy with it. Now, the second page one is a double page spread. I tend to somehow, Maya Saffram, whose art I found on October Cat's channel. Check her out, by the way, amazingly talented woman. And her videos are, I think, in Japanese, possibly, but pretty sure it's Japanese. But she has a lot of them either, you know, most of them have the subtitles in English you can choose, or, you know, some of them are auto-dubbed as well, but she herself recommends that you use subtitles, not auto-dubbing, because subtitles are more true to actual meaning. The auto-dub can be a bit iffy and translate things weird. Okay, so I love Maya Saffram's books and her art, and she has 3 books. One is just animals, one is it's called fun facts book, so it's essentially like infographic style books with facts about creatures, and one is about prehistoric creatures. And this one is baby animals. It's incredibly cute. And this one, once again, was sent to me by Maria, who is my little fairy godmother, I'm telling you. No, little fairy god sister. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's just lovely. So I tend to do every month almost, you know, at least one little spread in Maya Saffram's book. I approach them very, very simply. I just want to put loads of color down. I don't go into details there. I just make kind of a punchy page, and I play with the color a bit, or I might try out different materials on it. This paper is pretty good. It takes watercolor okay if you don't go overboard. If you, you know, go a bit too heavy, it can go through, but it doesn't really bother me because most likely I'm going to use something opaquish on the other side anyway. And this one I did gouache again, and this one was done with Arteza gouache that I had next to me, and I'm kind of trying to decide if I'm going to keep it or get rid of it. I was kind of happy with it when I didn't have any other gouache, but now that I have a couple of, in my mind, better options, I'm not sure that I'm going to keep it because there is quite a drastic difference between them. But I like the page. It's cute. It's simple, but very cute. So next thing I'm pulling out now, it's just coming from the pile, basically as it comes. And this is, I have heard different translations about, for this book. Either it's Desert Fox Sogumi or Desert Fox Salt. Quite possibly Sogumi is salt in English. And it's just a translation thing. But I somehow, I first heard Sugumi, so I am now in my head constantly calling it Desert Fox Sugumi. And this is the Four Seasons books or seasons. I do not know exact name. And I did a page here, which is kind of also a very more of a relaxer page. I started it in one of my live streams. So all the basing with watercolors, which I used here, Chinese watercolors, one of those wooden boxes, which actually is kind of called Winter, that you can get in Temu and possibly also AliExpress, but I don't really buy from AliExpress much because of the suddenly very high shipping costs from AliExpress to at least to Ireland, and also quite high prices, because the prices have really gone up for AliExpress. Like everything from AliExpress seems to be much more expensive. But yeah, I put down the base with watercolors, and then I worked with pencils on top, obviously, once it was dry. So I used Pro Colors here and German drawing pencils, kind of a mix of both. They are essentially in the same pencil case for me, and the color scheme of these, kind of the muted colors of these, really suited super well the muted color scheme I had already put down in the live stream. So yeah, really enjoyed doing it. It was super relaxing, both putting down the watercolor base and then afterwards just I very gently worked it over. I did not want to go into the high contrast land. So I did, of course, do a bit higher contrast than the initial kind of work next to it. But I kind of prefer mine, to be honest. I like a little bit more intense color. I want my skies a bit darker, kind of a stronger contrasts. And the cream I wanted also. I did like the idea of that slightly kind of a creamy undertone, but I wanted that color of a kind of a warm beigey cream, rich cream. So yeah, I think it came out really cute. I don't know if you want to see any details. So this is kind of a closer look at the page. And I didn't want to make or try to make the snowflakes white. Instead, I went with fairly dark, not dark, but darkish blue. And I actually outlined them with, I think they were these gel pens, which are always at my hand here. I have one of the sets constantly in front of me because I use them so much. Those are the colorful black Langlois gel pens, the 0.6 millimeter ones, and they are absolutely indispensable for me because I use them so much. So I like them for not disguising line art, but kind of making it more mine, claiming the line art more so, making it more harmonious with the page. Because if I had just left the black outlines like here on the snowflakes, I think it would not have looked as nice than if I went kind of with really dark blue. They still stand out, but they look different, and they look mine, and they look more deliberate. Okay, so long story short, like that work, quite happy with it. Then next, somehow from the pile, the relaxer works, or kind of a more chill works, come out first. I don't even deliberately think about it as, least favorite pages first, but somehow it's just happening. It's not even least favorite, it's possibly kind of a least labor intensive in a way. And in this book, I now actually really like what I did here, but here we go. This is, I like Fiona Wake's art a lot, and I have long struggled how to do them. I think I am finally getting there. I'm kind of trying to go, full folk here, and pretty much, not worry about shading almost at all, and kind of use this almost the graphic art style with a little bit, maybe in a tiny here or there, blending out. There were a couple of mishaps here because I did pretty much everything with the base is done with diluted acrylic gouache. It's a Holbein gouache, it's pastels. So I just diluted loads of them and made color variations, kind of a subtle, soft color variations at the base. And then everything else on top is, the most bases are done with acrylic brush markers, mix of Langua and Hedele and, different brands, to be honest. And then I did detail work all with gel pens. There's no pencils here. What I did occasionally do is, especially if I was doing things in a circle, that I kind of forgot that I need to let things to dry in between. So I kept putting my hands and smear the hands in a wet gel pen and smearing them a bit. So, if you look closer, there are a couple of not very clean areas. But I decided to kind of, it is what it is. I still love it. And I really like the color scheme that I did. Somehow it really kind of works in my mind. And these bows are also done, basically the base is done with 3 different colors of acrylic brush markers, so there would be, a bit of depth to them. Some of the lighter ones are coming forward and darker ones are going backwards. And then I did all the kind of textures on them with one single, or on the branches, I mean, with one single Langua 0.6 millimeter gel pen. That's it. There's nothing else there. That's how lazy that was. Wasn't lazy. It wasn't actually that even super fast. It was kind of an exercise or kind of trying to do very loose, kind of a scribbling and shading. And I think, to my eye, that looks fun. I really like it. So, in a way, it's almost one of my favorite kind of works I did this month. And yeah, it's probably not, something that impresses anybody super much, but I really like it. So, yeah, hopefully, I don't know now if I'm going to get to it in February, but I would really love to because it's such a fun book. And the art is just so beautiful. Okay, so next thing, let's pull out this one here. This is Bunnies and Dragons by Heather Gross. And I also started this page in the live stream. The second, I have live streams on Saturday evenings at 10 in the evening GMT, so 10 p.m. GMT. And I, usually we either start something or I'm, doing some detailing, but often I would start the page there. And in this instance, I did totally start the page, and I did a couple of special effects. I did, those swooshes in the guy, showed how I had the idea to do them, so I started them there. I did the kind of a glow, kind of fluffy, sparkly glow around and in the cloud for this cloud. And then I also filmed them for one of my coloring bits and pieces, kind of special effects bits like, colorful glows around the stars, those swooshes, how I do them, and the cloud thing as well, kind of a fluffy, sparkly cloud. So if you are interested in finding out, what and how I do, they are in my bits and pieces video, which, it should be pretty easy to find because there's actually there's little circles on the thumbnail, and you can see those elements in those circles. So yeah, it was mostly all alcohol markers as a base, and then I think it was black edition pencils mostly that I worked with here, as you know, on top of alcohol markers. And then, of course, Prismacolor white, because I use that for basing a lot of effects on the dark. And then white pit pen, brush pen now, I mean. I use that a lot as a base of kind of glittering or glowing or sparkly effects, because it gives that depth to sparkle. It's semi transparent, but white India ink. So it's great for kind of a subtle highlighting or softening lines, even on the coloring page, if you want to just kind of push them, knock them back a little, and so on. So to me, this is one of the essential tools in my coloring, on my coloring shelves or my coloring stash. So yeah, and then of course there's loads of gel pens here. And then next one is, okay, pulling out this one there. I'm going to pull you back a little bit. This is Yoga Animals So Cute by Kima Parrish. Really like that book. Funnily enough, I have seen her new book, and I have to say I like this one better. That new book isn't calling to me that much. There's a lot of kind of edible and sweet stuff and kind of very summery vibe to it. And this kind of, I don't know, excites me more. And I finished a page here that had been a WIP for a while. So let's get you closer. Okay, there you are. Now you see. Now this one is tricky because I did it over a long period of time and I didn't properly write down anything. Often I would put like a post it next to it if I've used several things and it's been in a WIP status for a long time, so I would remember what I actually used here. Can't say that I did that. Oh, I have to say that I only know that I had watercolor here in the background. And then I worked it over quite heavily, I think with warmer pencils, because I didn't really like how it came out. It was kind of patchy, and I didn't think that giving another layer would really make the background look the way I like. So I essentially worked over the fairly patchy watercolor background quite heavily with pencils. So kind of I created those blends that I liked. And then looking at my wonderful little notebook, pretty much there's also on the cuts, there's warmer pencils. And then, you know, cats also have watercolor in them from what I remember. I think I did some of them with Neocolor, the base, and some of them with watercolor. And then I put pencils on top, and then loads of different gel pens. You can see how many. And I used a lot of kind of metallic gel pens to cover lines here, as opposed to kind of matching color. I went for metallic, just more fun. And you know, you can do this and everything glistens. And I used these big golden swooshes are done with this wonderful golden marker. Oh, Hotu, I think is the name. It kind of wears off, so I can't see very well, but it's Hotu. If you can find it. I don't think you can get it in UK, but it's quite easily, from what I remember, available on the Amazon US. I got it when my relatives came to visit me. I wouldn't have been able to get them here, but I'm very glad that I do, because they have the most beautiful, really strong gold finish. As you can see, you know, this is nice gold. It sparkles well. And there's different metallic acrylic markers here. You can see everywhere, you know, a lot of metallic effects. And also Alchemist EU metallic watercolor paints. You know, those especially bouncy, sparkly areas, those are done with Alchemist EU paints, you know, the stripes and the cats. And so that is also amazing, amazing paint. So that's it. Yeah, not much to say about it. Quite happy how it came out. It's a fun book, and it seems to be, the pages here, for me, they take quite a long time because there's a fair bit of detail and bits going on. But usually once I'm done with the page, I am quite happy, and I have so many ideas. I had already color schemes in my head for different pages here. It takes watercolor reasonably well. I'm not saying that it's amazing, but it takes the reasonably well. And I've, this is the page I've done before, and that's pretty much done mostly with acrylic brush markers and gel pens. I do not think there's much pencil in it, maybe a little bit in the sheep here, just to deepen some areas, but mostly, yeah. I like to work with kind of a very, very mixed media then. Then there's this book that I now finally tried out. I had tried previously water-based materials here, like, different watercolors, and I think I even tried gouache here, and I tried diluting acrylic brush markers directly on the page. I think that's what I did here with the flower. I tried, different, like this is just pure watercolor. And I was kind of trying to figure out what goes through and what not. And, the paper, although it doesn't hate water, but it doesn't really love it either. Things do tend to go through. So I had gotten a Holbein multi-sizing liquid. I have a little clip filmed about it, which I hopefully, let me see if I can find the liquid for you. Okay, here it is. This is what it looks like. This is one of the things that I got from Amazon Japan. For some reason, it's quite hard to find here in Europe, and if it is in the shops, it's quite expensive. It actually kind of worked out cheaper, if you ordered it with several things, to order it from bloody Japan. And it's quite liquid. It's pretty almost like consistency of water, and it's basically a liquid to create a sizing for your paper, so it would tolerate water materials and watercolor paints better. And I decided to try it out here, and I put the sizing down, and there's some stains here, but that's because I basically once again pushed the paint underneath the page. I was a bit sloppy in my application. Other than that, I think there was one place where I didn't put the sizing down very well, and you can see, because I put the paint down, I put it down heavy and wet to make sure that I'm really now testing, how well the paper is now tolerating watercolor, and it tolerated it wonderfully. And it did not create, if you put down the satin glazing on the pages or gesso, how the water just starts pooling and you can't really blend anything or move anything very well. It is not, no, I'm not saying that it's becoming flawless watercolor. It's, still, you need to work on it a certain way, but it's so much better than and also it's better than Daniel Smith watercolor ground in that sense. So yeah, absolutely. If you happen to stumble across it, and if you happen to, if you're able to afford it, yeah, I would recommend it. So I didn't really do anything super complicated this page. I don't think this book needs very complicated or, fancy shading. It needs strong, vibrant, bold colors, which is what I did here. Sleeping Sun, I think it came out pretty cute. I also want to work in this book with gel crayons and with oil pastels, but this is in the future plans. But I really like how really strong, vibrant kind of a contrasts work here. And then I did put some shading in as well, and that was yeah, Pro Color pencils and Derwent drawing pencils. Mostly Pro Color pencils are used here because Pro Color pencils are absolutely lovely on top of watercolor. And that multi-sizing liquid maybe increases the tooth of the paper just a little bit, not a huge amount now, like, the likes of satin glazing or gesso. a little bit, like tiny bit. And the watercolor I used here was the good old big set of Mei Liang that I have. I just had it on my desk, so I just put kind of really strong, vibrant color down, and I did add pencil, not a lot of pencil, but I did add pencil shading in some areas, just for funsies. But yeah, it's a simple page. Then my next page, and it did not take much. It wasn't even an evening. It was like a couple of hours. Well, couple of hours one evening and couple of hours or less another evening, because obviously you had to let the watercolor to dry. Here is Fantasy Season coloring book. Do I have the name written down? Yukoko Ode, Animal Fantasy. Now, if I don't know if you are aware of or not, but myself and Maria, Colorful Mother Retreat, we have a hashtag on Instagram and also on YouTube, if you want to participate for coloring more in our Asian coloring books, and it's called Japanese Korean Coloring 2026. And basically each month we are giving a theme and also a little scavenger hunt, and you can do either or just one of those things that are there. And you need to find page, you can find the page in your Asian coloring books. It says Japanese, Korean, but we don't really discriminate against Chinese or any other Asian countries' coloring books either, and Asian artists, even if they are published by, let's say, Kanoko Egusa, if it's published in Europe or in the West book, it still counts as Japanese or kind of Asian artist. So yeah, or eerie books that are published in the West. So basically in January we had kind of winter wonderland theme, and there were also several things like cozy atmosphere and pinched cheeks and polar bear or bear. And I found this page in this book that has cozy atmosphere, as you can see here. It has a bear, and if this isn't Winter Wonderland, I do not know what is. So this is another page that I started in the live stream, and I started it basically from the sky. The base of the sky is done with soft pastels. I put kind of the color scheme or the color areas for myself down with soft pastels. If you really kind of want to check it out, you can check out the live streams. And then I started working, once the base was down, I worked with pencils on top to kind of deepen everything and brighten the colors here in the Northern Lights. So that's how I created the Northern Lights and the sky. And for the igloo and the snow and the trees, I put down a watercolor base, but I used Chinese watercolors, meaning that they were more opaque watercolors, which the books that don't exactly adore water, although this one isn't the worst one around, but yeah, you shouldn't really try to put several layers at least of it down on the same kind of on the wet, at least. Wet on wet painting isn't a great idea. But working with fairly pastel-y light colors or just one layer quickly down is absolutely possible. So I put the base down with watercolors, and then I worked with pencils on top. And the pencils I actually used here on top are, the sky is done with Woomers, I think, the base of the sky. But the pencils I used mostly on the trees and the snow, or it's a mix of harmonious pencils. And I did try pastel tints, Castle Arts, but I wasn't as keen on them, so I switched over in the middle to Brutfuner macaroon pastel pencils. This is what I used kind of for shading of the snow, and so harmonious and Brutfuner macaroon. I used them on the trees, and all the scene here on the gems. And then yeah, there's a lot of kind of once again, white pit pen, brush pen here, and also quite a lot of gel pen of different areas. So quite a bit of work. Oh, also metallic acrylic pens here. You can see the frame is done with these, and the frame, the black is done with So Flat. From what I remember, was it So Flat? Possibly. Now I don't remember exactly, but I think it was golden So Flat acrylic paint. So I think it came out really nice. I'm quite happy with that one. Yeah, I have had many worse pages than that. And then the next page is a body color between myself and Maria again. And it also fits into our hashtag. And here we did a portrait this month. And it was like kind of winter wonderland, but mostly kind of the pinched cheeks. They're really flushed, kind of a frost pink, cold weather pink cheeks. And that's what I was trying to go for here. Here I tried to stay very delicate. It is a child. Child skin is usually very soft, almost transparent, really kind of a delicate. And there's way less of strong shadows. It's more rounded, everything is softer. So way less pronounced strong shadows than grown-up skin would mostly have. So I tried to do it in much more kind of a delicate and soft way and kept the whole page reasonably delicate, but I still tried to kind of keep to my style so it wouldn't just look, too flat. So to me, there's still enough, depth in shading that I'm actually happy with this page. I actually, really like it. The pencils here were, well, the base was done on most elements here with water-based markers. And basically the whole thing of this one, except the background, was done in the live stream. So if you, are interested in some elements, how I did them, how I colored the skin, it's all there. The whole thing was done there from the zero. There was nothing on the paper, and I did the whole, the portrait bit on the live stream. Was actually, I think, was it the last live stream? Yeah, it might have been the second last weekend of January live stream. And then the background is soft pastels. They are Paul Rubens. Paul Rubens soft pastels. And then I erased out some circles. And then I put tiny bit of shading also with Black Widows around some of the circles to kind of, I don't know, give a bit more depth into the thing. Now I feel that I should have put some little darker dots in there as well with soft pastels to kind of give it extra depth. But I'm quite happy with it as it is. There is a tiny bit of gel pen, but it's mostly a water-based marker, and the skin is pure Black Widow's pencils. Really like that page. But I like the whole book. We've been coloring in here with Maria now quite a bit, for me anyway. Pretty much every month we've been doing something in this book, and I just pretty much like everything that I do here. So very happy that she got me coloring in that book. And this is also kind of another seasons book, this time now by Maria Trolle, Arstider, I think is the pronunciation of this word. Maria actually said that in one of her videos, how to pronounce Swedish artist names and book names. I don't remember exactly, but I know that this kind of a circle on top of R means that it becomes a long vowel. So I think it's Arstider. Anyways, I did here. I wanted to do kind of was a coloring process, full coloring process. I filmed everything and pretty much put it up. And it's just essentially watercolors and some or acrylic brush markers, and I think some gel pen. That's pretty much it. There is no pencil on this page. I kind of wanted to create this page that was, if somebody wanted to follow or try out working with watercolors, it would be a really easy page to follow. It does, the way I kind of showed it, it does need a halfway decent paper, because I essentially at first, wet the whole page to do the background, the way I wanted. But, if you want to play with your watercolors a bit and you want to do fairly easy, it genuinely is a very easy page, and it doesn't take hugely long. Then yeah, there's a coloring process on my channel. Now, what happened with that one was that somehow, I don't know if it was YouTube or if it was my editing software, it messed up the exposure on the video. Like, original footage was all fine, and when I uploaded, everything was like hugely overexposed, like really almost washed into white. So I didn't notice it before it had been up for, a full day almost. So I had to essentially go back, kind of check everything again, basically remake the video again. Well, I had the framework there, but I need to kind of make sure that everything was fine, export it again, upload it again, and then essentially I deleted the previous video and put up a new video now that has a decent quality, and you can actually see what I'm doing. So anybody who saw the first video, which was really bad quality-wise, I apologize, but now there is a proper version up there. I know that all the, there wasn't many comments on that work, but the ones that were there are sadly gone because I couldn't preserve them. I apologize for that, but it is what it is. Things like that happen occasionally. So here we go. Now my next work of this month, we're getting there, is from this book. It's Coco Wyer's book, Goddesses, which is actually my daughter's book, but she hasn't colored in it since she got it, and that was like several years ago. So I decided to do, I have this tradition that, my own tradition, that in the beginning of the year I color for everybody, on Instagram or wherever I am, a page of a goddess of luck and plenty and, wellness. And so far I have been coloring Fortuna for 2 years before that, and I couldn't find another Fortuna page, so I found Taiki, and Taiki is essentially a Greek original version of Fortuna. So I said, okay, I'm going to color a goddess of luck in this book. It obviously isn't the greatest paper in the world, so I also started it on the live stream. This seems to be an ongoing theme, and it had this black background like most of them have. I can show you here, not most of them, but quite a few of them. Like, this style of a black background, only it was a bit like the stars around her. She's basically standing in kind of this galaxy environment, and there's clouds behind her. And I didn't really like that black was not proper black even, it's kind of like a bit of a dirty dark gray, and it was just boring. So I created this background here with Prismacolor pencils. I colored it on top of black. You can see that can be done with most of opaque pencils on top of black. I have been showing that technique now several times. I also showed it, how I did the coloring like this on top of black in my live stream. Now that was just recent, the Tubiton live stream, the charity live stream. So, this would be the easiest place to check it out if you want to or need to find out, how it's done. It's very, very basic, and, there's nothing complicated about it, really. It isn't. And yeah, let me check. There was quite a few. There's loads of different media here because I did not do the full page with Prismas. I did the background of Prismas because I needed the opacity and the ease of kind of just smushing them together there. but I did the face of the goddess with erotic pencils because they actually are lovely on the kind of this fairly rough and textured Amazon paper. So you get really lovely and smooth results. And some Boomer pencils also. Yeah, it's a mix of different pencils, and there's loads of Langua gel pens and brush tip acrylic markers here also. So it was a page that took me quite a while. It was basically almost a week I've worked on this page because there's so many elements and so many kind of different color variations, and I really wanted it to look nice, and I am happy about how it looks. I don't know if I take you closer. Here we go. I think it came out pretty fun. I'm quite happy with this work. No, it's not perfect, but no, neither are we. None of us are. I did my best. I really did. I really enjoyed playing with this page. And yeah, I'm quite happy how it came out. And now to the last work of the month. And this is because the 1st of February is Bridget's day. I colored Bridget. I have this really cool book from Mystic Art Mirrors, Goddess Spell, which I always forget that it's spell. To me, it's Goddess's book. And I found Bridget here, so of course I had to do Bridget for, kind of publishing it on the 1st of February. I think she came out fun. But actually, it was a page that came together pretty well. One of the reasons being that this book has such fantastic paper. It really is. It takes pretty much any abuse. This is another page. This is one of the Fortunas. I talked about, that I did Goddess Fortuna here before. This is one of them. Yeah, this is now Bridget. So I did the background with granulating. Well, granulating. They are basically splitting, watercolors, but yeah, they're granulating as well. They do contain granulating pigments. So let's call them granulating paints by several different paint companies. There's Rosa and White Knights. I have a mix of the two. Yeah, there's this kind of a color variation in the background. That's all watercolors. But the image itself was all based with alcohol markers. You can see from the back here. I didn't really work it very heavily. This is one of those books that, although I did give it pretty, in some areas, pretty strong, heavy work with alcohol markers even, it does go through, but not as, not as badly as it would in many other books. So it takes watercolor really well. It takes alcohol markers quite well. It takes pencils fantastically. So I'm like, yep, I was a happy bunny working on this page. Like, no complaints to the paper whatsoever. I know that these books are expensive, and yes, they are, because you need to buy them from Etsy, and they are kind of artist kind of own publications. But I'd say they are worth it because they are fantastic. Really lovely, lovely paper. Totally, yeah, like a petable paper. So I had here, obviously, alcohol marker base, and then the pencils I used. Let me kind of check myself. It was very recently, and my brains aren't braining. So it was light, fast, and Woomer pencils. So on the skin, there was a lot of light, fast pencil, but mostly anything that I extra added to the skin. I did most of the work on the skin with alcohol markers, but I did kind of deepen and strengthen some shadows and add some kind of a warmer accents and kind of a redness and blush in some areas. And I did, for the hands and for the face, And for the leaves and the greenery, I also used, you know, anything green, I used as a darkest value, I used light fast pencils, because I don't know any other pencil sets who have quite a strong and dark, deep, fairly neutral greens. They're really great. So I used these here for the darker values, the shadow values, and then the lighter values I did with Woomers. So I'm combining cheerfully, and I think they work really well together, Woomers and Lightfasts. I know, combinations. But the hair was pretty much all just alcohol markers. I did do this also with, you know, anything that is kind of earth tony, and I have actually used pencils on the darkest value, does tend to be in the light fasts. So there are light fasts there. And then there's, of course, you know, some metallics, you know, in some areas that I added here. I made this with metallic paint, the same one I showed before, the Chinese one. Because I had some ready and diluted, and I just, you know, I need to use it now. And I needed, and I, you know, also did some gel pen kind of outlining for some things that I didn't want really strong black outline around, because her outline is pretty strong and dark black. So I didn't want really strong black around the leaves, so I gave them acrylic gel pen outline. The flowers had some acrylic gel pen treatment, and I put dark acrylic gel pen around the St. Bridget's cross as well. So that's it. That was a lot of talk and a lot of explanation you possibly didn't need, but hey, if you wanted it, it's there. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you are doing absolutely amazing, that you are healthy, that you are happy, that you have loads and loads and loads of creative time. I hope that you consider liking and subscribing and commenting on my videos, because the more comments, even if it's just a little smiley at the end, it doesn't need to be sometimes something very elaborate. You know, just leave something, you know, I don't know, thumbs up, or, you know, or maybe like leave a frowny face if you didn't like it. But yeah, you know, leave something if you don't mind, because YouTube likes and pushes videos that have more comments. So if you want to help me out, that's by no means obligation, but if you want to help me out and my channel out, that would be the way. So thank you once again very much for watching. It was great to see you here, and hopefully we'll meet again in another video. So bye bye.